Hello horse friends, and welcome back to The Imperfect Equestrian. Well, unfortunately we need to talk about the elephant in the room, and that elephant is JJ.
I kinda adore you, but don't get too proud. You're like my favorite snack, I won't say it out loud. I won't say you're perfect, we all know you're not. But hey, you're the best kind of way that I got.
As you might be able to see, JJ's put on quite a lot of weight recently. Unfortunately, we were getting on top of it, but it's all gone a bit downhill. We've had the heat waves coming and going, which has meant we can't do any riding. I've got a lot of rag water picking at the minute. They broke down the fence on the track, so they're mostly in the field rather than partly on the track and partly in the field. So it's all just going a bit out of my control, and I'm losing the fight with her weight. You can see that a lot of this is grass bloat, but she has got a great big belly going on there. She's not too bad on the apple butt status at the back, but that's just where she carries it. She's definitely got some shoulder fat going on here, and I mean, it is partly the breed, but she has got a rather excessive crest going on at the minute. So we do worry about JJ, and obviously I don't want her to come to any harm, so I'm going to have to take some measures to try and counteract this, and we're going to try and use a muzzle. So I have tried to use a muzzle in the past. You can see it's like a head collar with a bucket style muzzle on the end. They're supposed to be lightweight, but she got some sores and she was getting it off all the time, and it got to the point where literally within kind of 5-10 minutes of me putting it on, she would get it off. Now this was quite a few years ago we tried that, so I just haven't bothered since because I was having no luck at all. However, my friend has lent me her muzzle for me to try. So I was looking up online about what muzzles would be best for a horse nowadays, and two main brands were coming up online: the Greenguard, which is supposed to down extremely well, and also the Thinline. Now a lot of people have been telling me that Thinline would be better for the teeth than the Greenguard, but my friend has a Greenguard that she's lent me, so here it is, and we're going to give that a go. So this is the first time that she's wearing the muzzle. I've fitted it to her. Apologies that my microphones weren't working here, so I didn't get any sound for this session at all, but you can see how she's not pleased. She's trying to rub it off on me, and she's just walking around a lot, rubbing it on around, things like that. I wasn't intending on leaving the muzzle on in this session at all. I really just wanted to see her wear it, stand and observe her, make sure she wasn't doing anything silly. Also wanted to really check the fit of it. Could she get a nose out of it and stuck somehow? Could she pull it straight off her head? I just wanted to really observe the whole thing. She kept trying every now and again to eat, but she wasn't really figuring out that she could get it through, so she was getting frustrated with it, and then she'd just walk off and try again. So you can see she's moving around quite a bit more than she would do normally for grazing. And to be honest, she was getting so miffed that she was like taking it out on Comanche, trying to come rub it on me, just generally being annoying with everyone. Just if she's upset, then everyone else has got to be upset as well. That's how it works with JJ, bless her. Even though you know it's the right thing for them, it is really difficult to watch them when you first put it on, because they just don't get it at all. And you know, she's coming back to me, she's rubbing it because she's saying to me, "Mum, take it off me, I don't like it, I don't understand what's happening, I can't eat, I want to eat." So it does pull at your heartstrings, and you do kind of feel in that moment like they're never going to figure out eating through it at all. And then, you know, it's just going to be really heartbreaking to watch. It's very difficult to adjust to for you and her. But eventually she found this long patch of grass by her friends and finally managed to eat something. This is JJ's second session with the muzzle on. You can see it there. Good girl. And she's got a new fly mask on as well, which is fitting quite nicely around it. So I've also plaited her forelock around that nose strap that comes down the front of the muzzle there to try and keep it on. So between the fly mask and the plait that's going on here, JJ, I'm hoping that it should keep it on. I did feel really sorry for her earlier because she just couldn't figure it out at all. I only had it on for a short while yesterday for her to try it, and today when I first put it on, it was a little bit too long on the nose piece, and she managed to get a lip stuck over the top, so I had to shorten that front nose section quite a lot. And she's been going around trying to get all the long grass and trees and see what can go through, but she's finally figured out that she can lift it and put it down on the grass. We've brought her into the garden with Comanche as well, so this is our garden. because I saw a video on YouTube to say that grass that's kind of around about 4 inches long, maybe 5 inches, you can see on the floor there, is a little bit easier for them to figure out how to use it. So you don't want really long grass straight away, else they'll just fold it over, and if it's too short then they can't really figure it out either. So I thought if I brought her into the garden, she can trim my lawn for me and also figure out how to use it. So we'll have to see how she gets on. I'm not going to leave it on her all night tonight because it's only a second time wearing it, and obviously there'll be an element of stress to go with it, with learning how to use it. So later this evening, towards tonight, I shall take it off, and tomorrow we'll have our first full day with it. Whether I put her back in here or let her go out in the field again, I am not sure. She's come up to the door to me to see if I'll take it off for her. She's been rubbing her head on the side, but I'm not going to help her, so you have to look after it yourself, JJ. That's not going to work. It's a little bit later into the evening, and you can see that JJ is having some good snacks now. She's quite figured out how to use it. Would be quite nice to put a muzzle on Comanche as well. You can see he's quite tubby as well, but he's 24 years old now. He's had exposure to kind of grass periods like this in the past where he's got fat, and he's never had any really bad side effects from it. I have tried putting a muzzle on him on the past, the bucket kind, and he's got them straight off. But also, if you remember, Comanche has that weird problem where things that go on his nose make him sneeze a lot constantly. So yeah, like I don't know if you remember me putting on like fly guards and things like that, fly masks over his face that have got longer noses, or anything to do with his nose. He's just constantly sneezing. So he doesn't stop sneezing, he doesn't get used to it. So if I did put a muzzle on him, he would just be sneezing all day and barely eating because he's sneezing. So that doesn't seem very fair at all. So with him, I think we'll just try and cope without one for now and see how it goes. She's experimenting around the garden with trees and longer grass and things like that to see what she can and can't get through the muzzle to eat. And if something might be easier than the other, then she'd probably eat that section. Well, it's day 3 of JJ wearing a muzzle, and I was looking at her grazing in the field a bit ago thinking, oh, she's really got the hang of it. And now she's come up, I can see, and you can probably see as well, she's not even got it on. She's got it off. I don't know what she's done. She's undone the buckle, undone the thing. I don't know. I'm going to have a look at it. So having a quick look, I can see that it's this part here that she snapped, which goes from the little loop there down to the loop that connects to the muzzle. So it just goes between the two. Fortunately, I have seen this online. It is the cheapest part to replace. So good news for me. I will probably put that loop on the basket onto the metal ring for now and just hope that that helps. So this is how we've decided to fix it for now, just a piece of baler twine round with the strap going through there. And my husband suggested that, which I thought was a good idea for now, because if I put this straight up there and she does it again, there's a bigger chance of this snapping. So hopefully if she does do something, whatever she's done again, this will snap instead, because these are a lot more expensive to replace than this. And don't worry, Vicky, I will replace that before you get it back. Well, welcome to my life and the disaster that is JJ. It's now the evening of day 3 with the muzzle. She had it on all day, apart from I took it off for a couple of hours earlier when they were in the yard for them to groom each other. They didn't eat anything there, they were just in the barn. And I've just come out kind of into the later evening to see how she's doing. And surprise, surprise, let's take a look. Well, evidence number 1, that is a fly mask in the field. And evidence number 2, JJ is only wearing the mask from where I've plaited it into a forelock. Gonna have to rescue her and we'll have to leave it off for tonight. Honestly, I don't know what to do. It was all fitted properly, and yeah, the fly mask is supposed to help keep it on. The plaiting in the main is, well, technically speaking, the plaiting in the main is keeping it on, but it's not very efficient like that, so we'll take that off now. Like, for real, muzzle fitting on this horse is just a nightmare. I don't know, maybe we'll try again tomorrow, I'm not sure, or maybe I need to try a different type of muzzle. Who knows? So the reason the whole head collar was hanging off yesterday is that where it has the safety lever, I did notice when I borrowed it that it had obviously some point in the past obviously been broken already. If I just kind of split that there, you might be able to see it's already got a split through it. So that's obviously happened in the past. But I thought because it was looped through there and obviously had the strap going through as well, the tightness between it would be enough to keep it on her. Obviously I was wrong. She's managed to kind of just pop that back through. Whether she would have broken it anyway, I don't know, but it's not hard to fix that. So I'm going to punch another hole through just above it, and this is a little screwed rivet that I'm going to undo, and we'll fasten that back together again. So I popped a hole in and I've screwed it back through. Just for prettiness, I've popped the broken piece on the inside rather than the outside, and now we can hook that back up to the head strap again. So we're now on day 4 of trying to keep this grazing muzzle on JJ. Let's have a look at some of the changes we've made. So I got rid of the string on the nose because I realised that it was never meant to be there in the first place. The bit that broke was like an adapter for if you've got a normal head collar. So we've just got the strap straight to the ring like it should be now, so hopefully that's good. And we've readjusted that. We've fixed the leather section underneath, so that's all good and secure now. I'm not going to bother plaiting her forelock at the moment, because although that stopped it being lost altogether, which I will have to go around the field and find it if it is, it did not stop it coming off. And also we have less flies today, so I'm not going to put on her fly mask today, just so I can keep an eye better on the muzzle, so when I look out in the field she doesn't fool me that everything's okay. So let's turn her out and wish us luck for sure. Off she goes. Look, she's going to try and get it off straight away, probably on that fence. What are you doing, JJ? As usual, she was highly unimpressed with the situation and went and just stood sulking by a Comanche for a bit, not willing to eat anything and just staring at me for really quite a while. Eventually though, she did settle down and she went round and started grazing some of the longer grass in that section. She then started inventing ways to try and get it off. Well, it's quite a bit later on day 4 and I'm having a quiet little celebration because JJ's muzzle is still on, and not only that, she's still eating. Now, granted, she's having to go for some of the longer tufts of grass, which she wouldn't normally, but at least she's out there and she's digging in. I mean, earlier she was just standing around for hours. Of course, it can worry her quite a bit when they do that. So I'm happy to see that she's getting some nutrition, and I'm very, very happy to see that it's still on correctly. We're on day 6 of wearing the muzzle, and for the past 2 days and 2 nights she's been coping really well grazing through the grass. She's picking the slightly longer stuff. She's coming in now. Usually when she comes in I'll give her a little bit of time in the yard with it off. Good girl. If Comanche comes in as well, just to give them some time to groom each other. So at the minute, this is her best effort trying to get off. She kind of rolls and rubs it on the floor, but as you can see, it does stay on quite well. Good girl. She's been and chased Comanche up the field because she wants to come in and he wasn't, so we'll take it off now. So Comanche's come up on the yard, we've shut the gate, and JJ is itching her neck away over here, even though we've taken it off now already. She's getting all those places that she can't get when she's got the fly mask and the muzzle on, and hopefully they'll have a bit of a grooming session shortly. So I'll leave them in this yard area. You can see there's some nibbles on the floor, but not really much in here. So we'll leave her in here for an hour or 2 whilst I'm doing some stuff, and then she can go back out with it on again. Well, JJ and I are back at the vet's, and she's got her second vaccination today and also dentistry. That'll be fun. There was another horse that arrived just after us and managed to get round and be seen just before us. So whilst we're waiting, they told us just to pop up into one of the paddocks and we could graze there for a bit whilst waiting. So it was about 15-20 minutes before we could go around to see the vet. She certainly enjoyed the snacks considering she's been wearing the muzzle at home.
Okay, so let's have a little look.
JJ had a sedation for her dentistry. As far as I know, it's the first time she's had a sedation. She did seem to cope quite well with it, better than I thought she would.
Okay, so we've got some sharp edges that are going to need to be sorted out. But I can't feel any missing teeth.
That's good. Good news, JJ.
And nothing loose. Oh, ow. The tongue's working just fine.
Yeah, she'd eat anything that's in there, so do watch your hand.
That's what the gag's for, trust me.
Yeah.
Okay, there we go.
Unfortunately, I didn't get it on video, but once the vet had done part of her teeth, they actually let me put a glove on and feel inside so that I could feel a difference from one side of the mouth to the other. I've never had the chance to do that before, so that was really interesting.
Good cat.
The machine itself was really quite loud, and I wanted to give JJ some comfort whilst the work was going on, so I don't feel more the procedure, I'm afraid.
Good girl, JJ.
She's sedated, so she shouldn't react to this.
Good.
She's just had her teeth.
I mean, she was good last time anyway, so.
Yeah, she'll react even less when she's sedated. Good girl. So walking JJ onto the horseway, she's sedated, but nice and calm.
I was really lucky that they have a horse weighing scales on site.
And stand there, woohoo! Okay.
Now we can get a really accurate judgment of her weight.
512 kilograms.
So I'm back from the vet with her where she had her second flu jab vaccination. So shortly we'll be able to go out and do some trek and things like that if we want to. Also she had a teeth done there. The vet says very pleased with the teeth. There wasn't much, only just some sharp edges on the edge. Nothing cracked, nothing loose, nothing that needs replacing. I'm going to try, I spoke a little bit about the muzzle. We're using, the vet's quite pleased that we're using a muzzle at the minute for her. Sorry, we had to relocate because Comanche was kind of invading our space. I spoke to the vet a little bit about the fact that we're using a muzzle, so they're quite pleased that we're using a muzzle because JJ's weight is getting away from us, as we've discussed. And one of my friends, Janet, has also given me a Thinline muzzle. So she's been wearing Vicky's Greenguard muzzle, and although we had a few hiccups to start with, as you know, she has been keeping that on very, very well. But everybody says this is going to be far better for her teeth and things like that. And also, ultimately, it's a little bit lighter than the other one, not so many straps. I did speak to the vet about which one they thought was best out of the two, and she said the best muzzle is one the horse can keep on. So we know the Greenguard does stay on. We'll see if she can keep this one on, and then if she does keep this one on as well, we'll have a choice between our own preferences between the two as to which one we need to go for properly. The vet did also give me a weigh tape, so we're going to do the weigh tape on her now, and I can compare that to what we know was on the scale so that we can see how she improves over time. So if I remember right, it's been a long time since I've done a weigh tape. It's roughly where the girth goes, around there. She's not standing that square, but I don't think that's going to matter too much. And we take from where the arrows go. And kg, which is one we've been comparing to there, is here. And on the weigh tape, she comes up as 553. So that's quite a bit more than what the weighbridge said. So at least I'm glad we did do the weighbridge, else I'd be very alarmed by now. But it's still going to give me a good indication of when, oh, there it is, it's a little bit short, 546 kg. So at least we have something to compare as it goes down on this, but we know that technically she's a little bit lighter than what the tape says now. So it's important to compare the two, and I'm really glad that we took the opportunity to go on the bridge whilst we were there. So this is the Thinline muzzle that she's got now. It's a little bit close to a muzzle at the minute. I think that's because it's pulling on the lead rein, so I'll see how it fits as she moves around in a bit. I think it's going to come down a little bit as she starts grazing. And yeah, I'm going to just lock her in the yard for a little bit. It's a little bit maybe more complicated for her, because if we look at the front here, there's just that little hole to eat through, whereas the Greenguard muzzle had many slats that the grass could get through down there. So whilst it restricted a bit, it wasn't quite as restrictive as that. So we'll see how she does. So very pleasingly, she literally took to grazing straight away. She seemed to know exactly what to do. Whether that's because of learning from the old one, I don't know, but she seemed a lot happier. I had opened up the round pen here, again just to offer some grass, a bit like the garden where it was just that little bit longer, to all make it a little bit easier for her to figure it out. And she soon found that grass and dug in. Well, this is the second day with the Thinline muzzle. She's also got her fly mask on now as well. and she seems to have settled down a lot quicker with this muzzle. Now I'm not sure if that's because she's had all the experience with the Greenguard muzzle where she was trying to get it off and wasn't so successful, even though she did a couple of times, or whether it's just more comfortable. The other thing that I am noticing with the Thinline so far is that her grazing's looking a little more natural, whereas there was a very obvious plonk plonk where she had to lift and plonk her head down with the Greenguard. I wouldn't know she's got muzzle on at the minute, but I have been up to her. I've seen she has got a muzzle on, so that's a difference with that one. Also, I'm noticing that she's going for the short grass in this one, whereas I was noticing with the Greenguard that she was going for a lot of the longer grass in the patches that they don't normally like to eat. I was having a bit of a joke with Pete that, you know, not only is she limiting what she can eat, but she's having to eat her vegetables as well, because obviously the shorter grass is a bit sweeter for them and they're not so keen on the flavour of the longer grass, although they do eat it eventually. So she was being forced to eat her vegetables before, but now she seems quite content going for the shorter stuff and the longer stuff. I even saw her eating hay through it yesterday. Yeah, she seems to be getting on well with it. The one thing that I'm going to be interested to see though is we are coming back into another heat wave currently. Should be within the next few days, I believe they said, or into next week, and I will be interested to see how that kind of see-through material works on the face. It does say it's got UV protection, but obviously I don't want it to feel overheated or any sunbeam magnified or anything like that. So they're my small concerns I've got about the Thinline at the moment. Well, I've just come back from work and JJ is clearly quite naked. I don't know where her grazing muzzle is and I don't know where the fly mask is. I'm hoping she's just rubbed them off over her ears and hasn't damaged them in any way, but we'll find out. I don't know, have a clue where they are at the minute. Oh, I think I've just spotted them. There they are together, just by the stable door. So clearly she's rubbed the head on the stable door and she's managed to get it off over her ears. Well, at least that means it shouldn't be damaged. So I'm not very happy with her, but you know, that's going to happen with a muzzle. It's the first time she's got this one off. Hopefully that doesn't mean she's now learnt how to get that one off. She didn't quite get the Greenguard one off on that one, so that might mean the Greenguard is going to suit her a little bit better, but we will see. I'll give this one obviously a bit more time and a bit more of a chance. I don't know why she's choosing to graze in the yard here rather than out in the field, but strange she is. Oh well, we'll get it back on in a bit and we'll see how it goes. So I put the muzzle back on a little bit ago and I've come out to see if she's grazing happily or not, giving her a little bit of time with it on, and it looks like she's just sulking with the neighbours there. So hopefully she is just having a rest. I'll come back out in a bit to check she is actually grazing again. It does worry me when I see her standing there like that, but she did just gorge herself when she had the muzzle off, so possibly she's just full and having a rest. Of course, I am actually concerned that she got it off though altogether. I know she had the fly mask on as well. Maybe that actually helped get it off. I don't know, maybe it made it more likely for her to rub and get it off. I don't know. But with the Greenguard, she did get it off twice, but she physically had to break it twice to get it off. So we had to fix those pieces she broke. With this, she's literally just rubbed it over her ears. I think the thing is where the head collar throat latch is underneath. This one on the Thinline, it's not adjustable and it is quite loose like a normal head collar would be, and the one with the Greenguard is adjustable and sits fairly snug underneath, so you've got that extra protection there under the, it just sits under the chin slightly to kind of, so she is rubbing with her head, it's not got as much room to move up and down, if you understand what I'm saying. So possibly the Greenguard's going to work better, but I like the freedom of the Thinline, and everyone said it's better for the teeth, so I would really like for this Thinline to work out. So fingers crossed, but at least we know the Greenguard's likely going to stay on if not. Well, as I was just walking over, I could see her through the fence grazing, and I thought I was relieved that she was grazing. But as I've got into the actual paddock itself and can see her properly, you can see yourself also, she's got it off again, and that's in the middle of nowhere. She must have just rubbed it on her leg, I would have thought. So unfortunately, it's looking like the Thinline probably won't work for us. I'll go pop it on one more time, we'll give it another go. But yeah, a bit upset with that. So I've popped it back on. And straight away she's annoyed with me because I'm stopping her from eating so well. You can see that really if I tighten it up anymore, it's going to pull up the nose piece into her nose more, and it's already sitting fairly closely. So I can't really tighten up over the head collar, over the poll section, and there's nothing else really on that I can tighten. So I have no way, if she's pulling it off over the top, of stopping it from coming off, unfortunately. JJ, you are a cheeky monkey. She's trying to graze. I mean, the grass on this part she's on now is extremely short, so it really would be very difficult with that one. I can see why she would have got annoyed around this section. I've got plenty of sections open though that have got more grass, so she doesn't have to be here. Well, we're on day 3 with the Thinline muzzle, and I was really surprised this morning to see that it was still on there. I did see a grazing in the field, but she's coming now. So as soon as she's still got it on and she's coming on, I'm going to take it off for a couple of hours. We're just popping out to the beach, so I shall leave her and Comanche in the yard for a little bit, and they can have some grooming time together. I was really surprised that it was still on this morning, because when she got it off twice yesterday, I thought she'd just got the technique now and she's just going to go straight off, and I was absolutely convinced that we're going to only be able to use the Greenguard from now on. But we'll give it a fair chance. It's back on there. She hasn't got it off again. Fingers crossed. I'm now resting the large paddock they were in, and I've brought it down to the meadow instead, where there's a good variety of different grass lengths. There's some long, some mid-length and some short. So whatever will fit through the muzzle will work best for her. She'll find the best length. She's been out for quite a few hours now with that muzzle on in this meadow, and surprisingly it's still on. I thought she might actually be more inclined to get it off, because of the fact that, you know, she's frustrated of not getting the long grass. You should have seen her when she first came in. I wish I taped it for you, because she kind of ran down all excited that she's coming into all this long lush grass, and then realised that the muzzle restricted her just as much for eating. So she wasn't very impressed with that at all. Regards to this, I'm very confused what to do now, because I kind of really had it in my head this morning that if I woke up this morning and she got it off, that would be a real clear-cut end to this story for me, that this wasn't going to work. She was going to get it off all the time, and the Greenguard was going to be the one that works the best. But it is now staying on, so I suppose I'll give it a bit long. I mean, I've got both of them lent off my friends for as long as I need for a bit, really, before I have to decide to buy my own. So, you know, I've got quite a while I can still keep trying this for, and if it does stay on, we could use this. I've also been considering in my head whether it would be worth doing kind of a hybrid. So possibly buying the head collar part for the Greenguard, which can tighten up in all places, and then getting the nose attachment for the Thinline and adapting the Greenguard head stall for that. Now, I do appreciate that the Philly head collar, whatever they call it, with the green Thinline is specially adapted with loop points to tie those cable ties through that are on there, because if you haven't seen it before, they're attached with cable ties, which was already kind of measured out before I got it. It seems to fit her okay, so I've left it on the attachment I was giving it to. And on the head collar you can't see very easily, but they have like little loops in the head collar to thread them through, so you don't have that on the Greenguard head collar. You can take off on the Greenguard the strap that runs down the middle, so that can come off, but obviously with the one they use, with it being attached there, I don't want it to pull down, so I do leave it on, and I do feel that helps it stay in the right place. But I'm just thinking of options of what's going to be best for her, whether this design is better, because I think she does get probably a little bit less grass through that little hole than she does through the grill section on the Greenguard. Bless her. I can see, can you see there's like gathered in grass in there? She's got her own little stash going on. Bless you, JJ, bless you. But yeah, I'm really undecided about what's going to be best to do going forward. So I don't know, I'll wait and see. I'll give it a bit longer with this one. I was hoping to get this video finished today for you, but it looks like I'm going to have to at least wait till tomorrow to see what happens. Good morning, we are on day 4, and I'm very pleased to say that fly mask and muzzle are still on. So she's come up to the stable for a bit, so I'm going to take it off now for a bit of a rest for her. Did I say the fly mask was on? I meant mostly on. Oh well, it's still functioning, but there's one ear free. So she has tried to rub it a bit. Oh, my bad. Muzzle is on, hanging off, but look, oh dear, it is hanging halfway down her face. Right, so I think this does bring us to a conclusion with this muzzle. Unfortunately, I was a bit happy that it was still on, but yeah, I think we have a bit of a conclusion. So it's been a little over a week since I've had a muzzle on JJ, and we've been using two different types, as you know. So we've had the Greenguard that's had the basket on and got the strap down the front of the face and the adjustable straps pretty much everywhere. And we've had the Thinline, which is a bigger noseband. That's on purpose, they design it like that, but it is lighter weight, doesn't have the strap down the middle and has the breakable section over the top, whereas this one only has a small breakable section at the side. So we've been trialing both of those. Everyone's told me that this one is, the Thinline is far better for teeth for horses because of the soft material, although I have had someone say that you can get like a silicone insert for the Greenguard muzzle, so maybe not so bad, I don't know. Certainly there's a thinner gap here, so she could eat grass shorter than this one's a little bit wider gap, so very short grass would probably be very difficult to reach. So in an ideal world, this would have been probably the better muzzle to have. And I know if you buy them, I think the Thinline works out the more expensive muzzle, but obviously that's a lot of money to spend if it's not going to work. And as we've seen over the past week and a bit, this unfortunately does not seem to suit JJ. She does keep it on. I didn't get to keep it on so long as to see how it worked with the hot weather or the sunshine or anything like that really, but 3 times now, it might be more I think, but I think it was about 3 times she's got this off, and every time it's just kind of come off over the ears when she's been rubbing. So there's nothing I can do about keeping it on there. She hasn't got a long mane behind her head, so it's obviously trimmed there being a fjord. I can't plait it to the front bit because it's behind, so there's nothing I can do with that. There's literally nothing I can change on this that I can think of to keep it on her. So I don't think that's going to be suitable, because the more she gets it off, the more she's going to learn to get it off, and the quicker she's going to get it off because it's annoying her. This one, however, adjusts all over the place. She got it off twice, but the only 2 times she got it off was when the piece that's not even meant to be on here broke. So we've adapted that now by not having it on there and having this connected to the correct place, and also where the brake point is, safety brake point is on the side, that was already broken when I borrowed it. It wasn't connected, it must have broken in the past, and it was purely relying on friction. So now that's together, that hasn't come apart. So whilst this has been put together correctly and that's been fixed, this didn't come off at all. So this has proved so far to be the one that will stay on the horse. And as the vets say, or said to me the other day, the best muzzle to use on a horse is one that will stay on. So it does look like Greenguard is going to be our option going forward. I may experiment still in the future as to whether we actually do need this facial strap on or not, because it would be a little bit nicer for her to not have that on. And I think some horses do get away without having to have that on, but obviously this may sit a little lower at the nose section. So we might experiment with that, because I do have concerns. Obviously she's got a nice long forelock. We've already lost some length of her forelock because it used to be kind of halfway down her muzzle, and I wasn't sure why, because I don't brush it that often, but we've got a lot of black fawn around, and somebody told me if they put their nose in that a lot, it gets tangled and does break. So it was one of the first questions they asked me when I put a question up: why has her forelock got shorter? They said, do you have black fawn around it? And I said yes. So that could be why that's gone. But obviously if this is sitting over the forelock and rubbing all the time when she's eating, there's a good chance it could wear quite a lot around there and get a lot shorter. And the length it is now is really the minimum length I would like it to be. It just kind of comes around by her eyes, so it's very useful and it looks attractive. I don't really like it when it gets really very short on a fjord. It doesn't look suitable at all. So I would like to avoid that if possible. So we may take this off in the future if we can. And I'll probably be purchasing one of these myself in the future, but I'm going to keep the experiment going a little bit longer just to check that this is working. But as far as I can see, the Greenguard is going to be the best muzzle going forward for JJ. So wish us luck on our weight loss journey with JJ. Obviously I'm getting on top of the ragwort a bit more now, so I'll get some more time to do some more exercise with her. We have got another heat wave this week, so it won't be in the heat wave, but hopefully going forward we'll get back on the exercise plan, and between the muzzle and the exercise we'll get her weight back down again. Thank you so much for joining me on this journey on this video. I know it's been a little bit long and a bit experimental, but I've really learned a lot about what's going to suit JJ best and what's going to help her. If you have any suggestions or ideas about the 2 muzzles that we've had today that might help me in some way, then please do let me know in the comments below. And I hope this has been useful for you as well, to see both muzzles in action and see practically how they worked out in the world. So don't forget to comment anything that you can tell me about the muzzles, or just tell me about yourself. That's fine. I'd love to hear from you all. And like this video if you will, please, and share with your friends. And if you're not already subscribed and you've enjoyed this video, please do subscribe. So I'll see you again next time. Bye.